Now, a conversation with a rapper from the south side of Chicago who's branched out beyond music and has a new book and album that explore his own personal history. Amna Nawaz's interview with Common is part of our ongoing arts and culture series, Canvas.
He's one of the biggest names in hip-hop, known for the rhythm and rhymes he's created over a 27-year career in music.
This is street radio for unsung hero, riding in the Rego, trying to stay legal. My daughter found
Over the decades, Common the rapper has added actor, activist, and author to his resume, and the awards have followed. He's won an Oscar, a Grammy, and a Golden Globe for Glory. Powerful theme song he co-wrote with John Legend for the 2014 film Selma.
hands to the heavens, no man, no weapon. Formed against, yes, glory is destined. Everyday women and men become legends.
Gentlemen.
He's also appeared in movies and on TV, including The Chi,
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
a series about Southside Chicago, Common's hometown.
It took me 12 years in Statesville to find my way to Allah.
Lonnie Rashid Lynn, better known as Common, first emerged on the rap scene in the 90s. In 2000, his first major label album, Like Water for Chocolate, brought big success. And his 2005 album, B, was a commercial hit, leading to one of several Grammy Awards. As his fame has grown, Common has used his growing platform to become more politically vocal. A frequent guest at the Obama White House, he's faced criticism from Republicans. He's performed at the March for Our Lives gun safety rally, and he's been outspoken when it comes to the Trump administration's immigration policies. Through it all, Common continues to make music. His new album, Let Love, accompanies his new memoir by the same name. He recently came by the NewsHour to talk about both. Common, welcome to the NewsHour.
Oh, man, I love hearing that. Thank you for having me.
I want to ask you about your memoir now. It's called Let Love Have the Last Word. There's an accompanying album coming out with it, too. What was it about this stage of your career, this stage of your life, that made you want to sit down and write this book?
Well, I think it's a lot of what we see going on in the world, like the divisiveness, the anxiety, a lot of the, including the attacks and things. I really wanted to instill something that was hopeful, instill something that could be solution-oriented, and something that has been an antidote for me, a resource for me to overcome, tough times in my life. I wanted to share that with other people, because so many of my conversations was based around anxiety, and so many of the conversations I was having with people, and I still was like, hey, y'all, we can do it. We can, I got hope. We can do it as people, as human beings. Let's find the common place for us and start from there.
It's also a very intensely personal book, this memoir, right? And I was reading that your daughter actually inspired a lot of what you shared in here. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, we had a conversation, my daughter and I, and she really challenged me as a father, where she told me places where she didn't think I was showing up as a father. And initially, my emotion was, wait, but I love you. And I was, hurt and defensive, and even with some things, angry about some of the things she said. But, somewhere during that course of the conversation, I just looked at her and said, man, this is my daughter. Let me listen to her. I knew I wanted to write about love, but not just romantic love. Mm-hmm. So when that incident happened, it just gave me more things to talk about how love can be in action, how it can be a practice.
One of the other things that you share for the first time, speaking publicly about it, was that as a child, you suffered a very serious trauma.
Yeah.
You were molested when you were 9 years old.
Yes.
What did it take for you to get to a place where you felt like you could talk about that?
I felt that if I decided to talk about it, it would be healing for me, but also healing for others, because other people experience sexual abuse, molestation, just physical abuse, and I knew as a black man, me talking about it would give a gateway and an opening for other men, black people, brown people, just to be able to talk about it. And I bring us, black people into the equation, because for us, it's in our culture, it's not really discussed. When those things happen, it's not talked about as much. Or how do we solve this? How do we stop the cycle? So I really knew that if I told my story and told it in a way that's really just raw and truthful, and still acknowledge that I'm in the process, and it would allow other human beings to come out and talk about it and hopefully be a part of the healing. Because my ultimate goal is to stop the cycle. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're still going through that healing? Where do you feel like you are right now on your personal journey?
I feel like I'm in a great place of forgiveness. I'm still learning like how this affected my life in different ways. And you know, one of the things I'm learning through the process is to be kind to myself, you know, and not just like judge everything I do when I make mistakes, or just to beat myself down. Like, I try to learn from the mistakes and acknowledge where I was wrong and move forward. Now, this is something where I wasn't wrong, but I still, you know, as a human being, you hold guilt, you hold shame, and I just try to make sure I'm being loving to myself, and in the process, deal with each emotion that I have. And I think overall, I feel like this is bigger than me anyway.
You have never been afraid of tackling the tough stuff in your career, whether it's about your own personal journeys. You mentioned your criminal justice reform work. You tweet a lot about immigration detention. You were tweeting about the ICE raids recently and injustices that you see going on around you. Where does that come from? Do you have a sense of responsibility to pay attention and be engaged?
Yeah, I think, you know, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, a community which I really love. And that community is like many other communities that suffer from being marginalized, being treated less than, having lack of opportunities and resources. So when I see somebody being pushed down, I just relate to it, and I don't like it. Meaning, like, when I see what's going on with people that's trying to get in the country and families being separated, it just is not fair life. It's not good humanity to other people. So I have to speak up. It's my duty as a human being, as an artist, and not only speaking now. To me, my speaking has to become action, and that's what I'm more involved in. Like, I have Imagine Justice. That's why I went to the prisons. That's an organization that I'm a part of, where we do social activism in different spaces, including immigration is one of the spaces we're like now in process of figuring out how can we be a solution to this issue.
It's fair to say music is still your first love.
It's my first love, but I love like acting just as much as I love music. So I'm not gonna deny that. I do. I love acting. It's fun.
You did say something in your book I wanted to read to you, though, about sort of the roots of where your music comes from, which is freestyling.
Yeah.
You were talking about rapping. You say, I've been rapping for more than 25 years now. I would rap for free. I would rap if I lived on the streets. I would rap if I were a preacher or a prisoner or a politician. You say it's your release. That sometimes even if you can't do it in the studio, you just hop in the car and you go and you do. You really just do that? You just get out in the car and freestyle?
Yeah, I mean, I love, that's actually how I write my songs. Is like, I get in the car and I just like put on a beat and I say my raps out loud. I just start freestyling whatever lines I like. I do believe it's a divine expression, meaning I'm only creating when I'm in a pure place and I'm feeling like this, I'm not thinking too hard. It's just coming out, it's just flowing. Like, it's no way to like try to describe the process besides, I can tell you the steps, but I can't really tell you how it's done.
Common, I can't thank you enough for coming by. The new book is called Let Love Have the Last Word. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for having me. Sometimes she might even ask if I can come here and rap off facts. I'm gonna tell you this, even sitting in the booth, anytime I talk about facts, I spit truth. That's what it is. I spring truth to power. I came to do this at the PBS NewsHour.